Hi, my name's Keith, and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Bible. Oh, I'm not going to be reading too much from it, but I'm going to be talking about everything just about reading it, just about reading the Bible, about reading the entirety of the Bible, because I've been catching people lie, just flat out lie. So, this is astonishing, because a lot of people say, oh, I've read the Bible. No, they haven't. They're pulling up Bible verses on Google, and these are the kind of people you have to watch out for. So, if the person's of a young age, and I mean, because it takes people of years of study in school to study the Bible, because you can flip through it, but that's not reading it. You don't pass a class in any form of class in college, high school, anything, just by flipping through it. So, a lot of people are skim reading it, but they're missing about 80% of the information. Oh, this is huge, because if you actually realize that these people, because there are some sour vinaigrette Christians, they're not Christians, walking around, they're not Christians. They're not Christians. And I have people this is in my live last night, I'll use this as an example. People pretending to be Christians throwing shade, and I actually went on their pages afterwards, and those people are fighting people at gas stations and in public, but in my live they're like, well, I'm such... God favors me, so I don't have to do anything. Like, my life is just so good and so wonderful. I literally saved some of because people wouldn't believe me. I saved some of what's on their page, because literally, I wish I could show it on YouTube, but there's people like, well, this is why God favors me, and I don't have to wear crystals and do witchcraft like you. And these are the most nasty, heinous people ever. And this made Jesus it made God very wrath. Let's just say that. So, and the people actually got punished very heavily, because they're practicing hypocrisy, so being flat out hypocrites. And you would take these people as serious, and probably like, well, I've read the whole entire Bible. Well, I guess I'm just better than everyone else. And if you look at these people, a moth just hit me in the face. Anytime a moth hits you in the face, it means your intuition's on point. There's lights over there, so they don't have to come over here. No snorting. No snorting. Okay. This is why. So basically, back to my point. But these people are not actually reading the Bible. They have not read the Bible. You know, if you actually take time to read the Bible, most people miss all the details in the Bible. It's kind of like if you eat. I'm gonna say if you eat a fish really fast, such as snapper, and you basically eat it as fast as you can, you'll either choke on the bones, or you'll just eat most of the meat and then miss most of the bones. Other things like actual chicken from out of the United States. Yes, real chicken. There's no real chicken in the U.S. But and that's why our chickens are so big. That's a whole different video topic. But even if I'm allowed to do that, but that's the thing. This is an exciting topic. You guys are gonna find everything out about who's lying to you, because these people are just lying, and they bear false witness against thy neighbor upon entering a conversation. God looks at these people lying their butts off, and it puts them in the hot seat of judgment. It takes away, they get hit by a truck of bricks in their karma. And it's so astonishing, because this is what people run. This is what runs people off from being Christians. So people see other Christians behaving like foul with horrible behaviors, because there are some people who I call out in my live, and yes, in my live last night, if you're in the live, people are like, well, I don't have to do any of that witchcraft stuff. God favors me, so I don't have to do crystals. I just live my life lavish and nothing. There's no problems. I checked there's multiple people's pages. It's ironic, because I screen recorded their pages, because it's literally neighbors throwing chairs through windows, neighbors literally grabbing them by their hair, dragging them outside. I'm like, oh, you live a nice life. You're something. And that's the thing. You see pastors just basically like, oh, everyone should be like me, and they're sleeping with the whole congregation. Like, what the? So it's a whole backwards world, and this really aggravates God, but he lets it happen so that people are able to discern, and number two, they punish that person. And those are not the people getting in heaven either. They're not. They're just they want to come up with their own heaven, so they find it in a maze in Sheol. So they find it in the third column of the earth. So that's the thing. Ego doesn't get you into heaven. Before destruction comes pride. So, this is going to help a lot of people, because if you notice, there's some people who are Christian, or so-called Christian. Listen, Lil Nas X and The Weeknd are now calling themselves Christians after their little soul contract sells. And it's because it's a reputation. It's just a reputation. It's a reputation. It's because oh, if they see me as a Christian, they're gonna think I'm perfect in God's eyes, and blah, 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 blah. You know, have you ever tried to ask God first before you talk to people? Say, God, can you reveal this person's true colors? Like, don't even let that person talk. Before you watch my videos, ask God to help you with the information. Say, God, can you show me what he's talking about? Can you show me if he's accurate or inaccurate? You should do this for every YouTuber before you ever come across their videos. And yes, I'm very humble in saying that because people are afraid to have God check their videos. It's like, yeah. So, ask God. Ask the Most High God, Lord Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not talking about your other false gods. I'm talking about the Most High, Jesus Christ. He is the Most High. You will find out upon you leaving this world. You will find out, and you'll either be in a hot seat or in a comfortable one. So, that's the thing. You might not even get a seat. So, that's the thing. Who's screaming? People's demons getting angry. So, basically, when it comes to that, most of these Christians, and you're like, and I remember, I'm going to use myself as an example. I would go to church. I'd have Mass, communion, we did Lent, and in the parking lot, people would fight. They would fight. People fought in the parking lot. It happened multiple times. I remember basically in the churches that I was in, basically everyone's like, well, and the whole lesson of the congregation, oh my Lord, this is why I stopped going. This is actually the last straw why my family and I stopped going. Basically, like, they're like, well, we're supposed to help those who are less fortunate. And then there was one family in the church who was going homeless. And God actually destroyed the church, but he destroys most churches now and he rebuilds them, but they just let the person go homeless and their family go homeless. I'm just like, so this is the thing. A red flag, if you hear someone saying, okay, oh, you're a Christian, what church do you go to? That person's faking it. They're faking it, or they just don't know. It's one of the two. Number one, they just don't know. If you think God is the church, God is in the church. People are like, oh, you're of God. Which church are you? Which church is your God? Or like, basically that's what they're asking, because church, the body's a vessel, and you put God first. Church is the house of God. God is in the house. And I have so much more to talk about. I'm trying to fit all the information in this video, but talking about the Bible, this should not shock you at all. When I tell you most pastors have not read the Bible fully, they've skimmed through it, it's scary. It's scary. It is very scary. The thing is, if you actually take time, and this is why it's taking me so long to read the Bible fully, and that's why I'm very good at the parts that I have read, is because I'm like, okay, these are details that no one's looking at. People don't even know there are anti-cheating rituals in Numbers 5. It's the first couple of chapters in the Bible, and there's some big time rituals being taught, and that's the thing. There's just nothing but magic in the first couple of chapters in the Bible. Literally, God told his high priest Aaron to wear crystals around his neck, around his chest. Literally. And people don't understand. Like, lapis lazuli at the foot of God, it's like, oh, Christians are evil. These people are not real Christians. They're not. You don't treat them like actual Christians. They will not make it into heaven. The thing is, if they do, it's because Jesus, they basically accept that they're wrong, but they can't do that here. You think they're going to magically change over there? Some of them do. Some of them do. But these people are dangerous because they're pushing people away from God. I try to talk to someone about Jesus who had trauma from their upbringing, because these people who are aggressive about God, these people don't live in lives that you would trade places with the people with. Okay? So, and it's kind of sad. It's not kind of sad. It's disturbing. That's how the devil operates. He's like, okay, cool. I'm just going to take over these people because all you have to do is inflate someone's ego, and you can control them. Okay, I'll give you a little thing. If you see these people who get viral videos for interviewing people, like, for example, they'll go downtown or they'll go to Midtown, wherever they go, the reason that they get their viral videos is because they inflate the person's ego. So, for example, I don't like using this as an example, but for example, I'm like the Hawk Tuah girl or whatever. I don't even like saying that. Gross. That's disturbing. But it happens all the time because, and I've seen it out in public. I've seen camera crews and whatnot, and they'll walk up to the people, and before the camera turns on, they'll give them an injection of ego. They'll be like, you know how beautiful you are? Oh, you know how nice your skin is? And they'll just pump their ego up. And now they're feeling themselves on camera to the point where they're going to kind of sell out by saying things they'd never normally say on camera. So what do you think people are doing with Christianity who are not actually Christians? So these people are pumping their egos up. Well, and that's the thing. I have seen people who have become bedridden in hospitals, whatever. I remember one guy tried to spiritually attack me. He's like, well, God, I'm God's favorite and I'm his number one. I can do whatever I want to because God's gonna back anything I do because he doesn't like you, he likes me more. I've seen several people like this. These people, and it's disturbing, like this is just like, these people are so far out of reality. I wish this didn't existed. At least when we get to heaven, we won't see these people. I mean, we'll see them in Gehenna, but it's disturbing. The amount of ego and pride among people, and that's the thing. I mean, some of them can be very sneaky. The men are a little more open about it because the divine masculine. The women are very sneaky about it. Oh, so you'll see the woman be sitting back, just like. So the men are very kind of like open about it, and no one's going to interrupt them because they're just going to let them talk because no one really wants to talk over them. I mean, sometimes it's the other way around because sometimes the men have the divine feminine in them and more than the divine masculine. Blah, 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 blah. Long examples, but. And vice versa, but the women are more so like they'll just sit back and be nice and sweet and like, you know what you're doing is evil, right? I'm like, okay, show me what part of the Bible. Like, well, and they'll pull up Google. If someone pulls up Google when it comes to the Bible, they have not read it. You see these people in comment sections online, oh, this verse, and they have to Google it, or like they don't know what the verse means, but they're linking it. It means they're using the Bible to fuel their ego. They don't care about God like that. They care about having ego. They care about making themselves their own gods. But they're going to call the Most High basically themselves because those people are boosting their ego. That's not how Jesus works. I remember I was reading Leviticus and I was going through these different chapters and I read it with Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and my beautiful angels, and I can hear Jesus and the Holy Spirit and the beautiful angels loud and clear. And I'm like, I don't know what to make from this. I don't know what to get from these messages. Because the Bible, everyone skips Leviticus. It's because it's challenging to understand. It's not written in order. Once you get past Exodus, it's like, what is this? And they're missing all the details. It's like, no one really knows why Moses got punished. No one really knows that Moses wasn't supposed to strike the rock. He was supposed to talk to it. I mean, people are watching Bible movies and skipping the major Bible verses. Even the AI movies online about the Bible verses, they skip all the details. Moses held the staff up. Basically, God told Moses, and there's so many details, and I'm trying to say them all, and I'm trying to not talk too fast, but there's so many details, and there's little tiny things that are just mistranslated that even if you read it, you can't know it because you're supposed to do research on that line. So when you read the Bible, if anyone has told you that they've read the entire Bible, they're lying to you. They're flat out lying. They've skimmed it or they went through it. I went through the Bible. I went through the Bible. And yes, I got excited and I'm trying to fit all this information at once. I read the Bible, but the thing is, I've skimmed through the Bible. I haven't read the entire Bible to know everything back to front. I know a good portion of the first part of the Bible, and even then, I don't have to look at the Bible for certain portions of what I know about, just because it's something you live. As a Christian, it's something you live. It's not something you just... And that's the thing, when you understand how tough the Bible is to read, it's like, oh my God. Literally, oh my God, this is tough. Like, what is this? All the information's out of order. In the first couple of chapters, you'll start noticing all the information about, for example, Israel. It gets confusing. So if someone told you they read it once, that person's a liar. They read it once and they understand everything. That's the thing. Okay, if you read it and then you kind of understand it, you get the gist of it, okay. If you fully understand it, liar. Literally, bearing false witness against thy neighbors. Like, that's the thing. And that these people will start off, these pastors haven't read the whole Bible. They're talking, one way a pastor... You know for a fact they have not read the Bible is when they talk about the story, but they talk about their own story that doesn't connect to that story. They didn't read it. They saw another pastor teach about it, and that's what happened. So what's going on is people are, and I'm going to take years before I start teaching about the Bible, because when I teach about it, you notice how I don't speak about things I don't know about? You notice how I shut up and literally, Jesus tells me, don't speak about this unless you know 100,000% of what you're going to say. The angels, St. Michael especially, is like, don't Don't use the verse if you're. Don't use it. Don't even say it if, like, you can use a story, but do not try to quote it if you're not going to get it completely correct, because that's what's been happening the whole time anyway. Shut your mouth if you don't know what you're speaking about. Seriously, if everyone did that, the world would be a clean place. So, the number one thing when you see someone who ever talks about the Bible, if that person is not speaking loving messages about the Bible, about how, because the entire Bible is a story about how far God came to get us to where we're at now, to be able to enter heaven, how much God loves us. God stopped himself several times over. God stopped himself from wiping us out so many different times. We should have been wiped out. I'm going to say I've read certain parts. I mean, certain parts of the Bible I've read, I'm just like, okay, if I was in the position of God, I would have just wiped us out. That's when God was talking to Moses, literally. And that's the thing. I'm making sure I read every nook and cranny, and that's why I only speak about the first couple of chapters, because I don't want to get one detail wrong. I'm like, for example, in Numbers, I have to read Numbers, because once we got to the talking donkey, which people like, when people hear talking donkey, for example, I'll ask someone who reads Numbers, I'm like, okay, and then I'll mention talking donkey, and they're like, there's a talking donkey? There's a whole verse about a talking donkey in Numbers, and people don't even realize it's there. People are just not reading it. Skimming is not reading. That's not how you pass college. So this video can get kind of long, but I'd like you to understand, if you're someone who said you read the entire Bible, it's not true. God's watching you, and God will confirm it for you. You can ask God, am I right or wrong about this? He'll show you very fast. He'll give you a very fast sign. So, oh, these people are not getting near my rabbits. Okay, they're being nice. Okay, I have rabbit. I mean, I call them mine, but the rabbits run to the field. Okay, just making sure they're not touching my rabbits. Don't touch my rabbits. Don't touch my rabbits. But that's the thing. It's just, you know for a fact when someone's teaching about the Bible through their traumas, it's not it. It is not it. And this scares people because it's real. You know, I'm going to say this right now. And I mean, Jesus said I'm allowed to teach it. The angels said it's okay for me to teach. Basically, I wear crystals in public. I literally have a staff, like a long staff. And in public, I mean, I don't really get approached too often. I kind of just meld with my surroundings. But occasionally I'll have people come up to me like, do you want me to pray for you? Or like, have you ever heard about Jesus? And like, I'll have that happen every so often. And it's prayer groups and whatnot, and I don't judge them. Everyone's just trying to learn. It depends if they come with a nice intention or a mean intention. They're all nice. The tourmaline keeps the mean ones away, thank God. The mean ones, I'll exorcise them. But the nice ones, most people don't know the Lord's Prayer. And I'm not judging people because that's tough, but most people don't know how to pray. I mean, to pray, most people pray from the heart, or a lot of people try to pray from the heart. A lot of people, they'll read the Bible in different orders, and they just don't know. So, in their way of how you can view someone dumping their trauma on you and being vicious and mean to you when teaching about the Bible is, you take time to read it. It could take years for you to read the Bible and understand everything. And then explain to the person, you're not teaching the right message. This is not, you don't teach trying to scare people. You don't teach, I mean, we talk about hell in the Bible, or Sheol. It's actually Sheol. But that's not where we start. Oh, you talk to God, are you going to hell? That's not how it works. Essentially that is how it works, but that's not how you get someone to feel love. You're trying to scare them versus trying to have them feel the love of God. That's someone who doesn't have the love of God. These people, if you look to see, this video will get kind of long. If you look to see that someone, and I'm going to summarize right now. When someone talks about God, and it could be a silent person, these people are the devil in disguise. These are not real Christians, but some of them actually crave God, but they don't have a connection. So anytime they open their mouth to you, it's just trauma talk. So when these people open their mouths to you, and you feel uncomfortable, but you know God in your heart, and you love God in your heart, and you feel these people like almost judging you, they're pouring their traumas on you, and you're empathing it. Ask, and before these people even talk to you, you have to talk to Jesus first. Say, Jesus, this person wants to talk to me. Can you accept or deny what they're saying, please? Can you do it yourself, Jesus? He'll do it. Why does no one think to ask Jesus before they talk to other humans? You're going to talk about God when he's literally directly next to you. Literally talking to you. Like, okay, I'll show you. If you have any questions, ask about your questions in the comment section. The point of this video is, the Bible's tough to read. Most people haven't read it. It's okay. It's actually okay. If you say you know everything about something and you know nothing. You know nothing. You know nothing if you say you know something about everything. But if you say, there's some more to learn about it, it makes you humble. It makes you someone who's going to learn a whole bunch more. It's like for the people who have tests in college, if you say, I know everything in the exam, whatever, and you take the test and you're just like, why did I get a C? It's because you thought you knew everything. You're a know-it-all. You got a big head with nothing. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna, some of the angels are spicy, let's just say that. But oh no, the trap. I'm not going to start again. But if you're someone who studies, if you're studying for that test and you're studying, and you're like, okay, I think I could study more, then you'll probably get an A. Same thing works with God. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section. If you haven't already, get yourself a custom necklace from FloridaStoneman.com. It's going to change your life. Or the Tourmaline necklace. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.